Hey, thank you so much for clicking this video. This is a series of videos where I'm discussing code elasticity. Code elasticity is the ability for your code to scale up without tearing or breaking to a tech company, successful tech company like your Google and Facebooks of this world. So in this video, I'm going to discuss one thing that prevents you from having an elastic code, a code that can scale to a successful app like Facebook and WhatsApp. One of those things is that, or it happened way back, even before you get into coding industry. Like even before you notice anything about coding or learn anything about coding, you are already in a trap, and that is how you learn coding. As YouTubers or YouTube coders, we are too technical about coding. Is that wrong? Of course, that's not wrong because that's what we specialize in. We help people to understand code better, or help them to learn to code, or explain or break down different concepts. I do understand that. But at the same time, there is less higher level thinking and thought process and frameworking in coding channel. This is what I mean. There are few channel that talks about, let's say, what can I say, corporate coding. I'm not sure if this word exists in the software development industry or even in English in general. But when I'm saying corporate coding, this is what I mean. Coding for production, not for the sake of learning. Obviously, most of our tutorials, we always say that, okay, I am teaching you this and how to do it, but this is not for like production, but it's for helping you to get the idea. I do understand and I appreciate that, and I thank YouTubers for doing that. But also in the industry, we need production level code, high quality code, no matter how complicated it is, or no matter how, what can I say, technical or difficult it is, but we need that code. So when you get into coding from YouTube channels and even school, you are not taught that, because I've got a diploma in software development. I've been taught object oriented programming and in IT, but there are things that I feel like I wish I could have learned this in school because it's so vital. So even when you get into coding, you are already on the minus, below zeros. You are on the negative, because the way you learn to code, it creates your own code to be rigid. It solidifies it. It's not elastic enough to scratch and expand into becoming a successful tech company. This is what I mean by that. We teach you as YouTube coders or the academics, we teach you coding and the technical part of it, but we don't teach you the concept. We don't teach you the architecture. We don't teach you the strategy. We don't connect the pieces of the puzzle together. For instance, if I were to teach someone to code, number one, I will first teach them the essence of programming, which is problem solving. Be it you solve a problem in real life, in accounting, or in whatever, but you need to have a clear understanding of what problem solving is, and in its essence is making the most out of what you have. If you are able to take few things and involved a lot of thought process and come up with a solution without necessarily seeking more resources and other external things, I think that's the essence of programming. It's problem solving. So when you get into YouTube, you are taught how to declare variables and functions. But when you scale, when you get into a level whereby you've got a code already and you want to, what can I say, you want it to be an application, and you want to expand and solve problem, you will find out that you are having some difficulties because you are too functional and you are too technical. So number one, I would say the problem solving skills. Number two, coding channels, we don't teach you to think in principle. Like for instance, the design pattern, the essence of object-oriented programming, the functional object-oriented programming, not just declaring classes and instantiating them, but having the skill to make your life easier, to write clean code with programming, design pattern, solid principle, and also the try principle. So we don't really teach that. And when it comes to teaching those, you can even teach those without coding. You can, without even opening Visual Studio Code and code. Those are conceptual, high level ways that drills you into thinking in terms of principle. So by the lack there of those things, we then fall into a trap of writing a code that is solid, a code, number one, that is not able to scale, a code that is only understood by you, a code that you cannot plug someone else in for scaling. Let's say you've created a very, very successful or functional and a complete a competitor of WhatsApp, but then you need to find other people to help you. But based on the way you have designed and structured or architectured your own code, you can't plug other people, therefore you cannot scale. So we even fail without even noticing it, without even starting. The way we get into coding, we are taught and we are drilled into writing a solid code, a code that is not inclusive, a code that you cannot plug in a front-end developer and a back-end developer and a database guy, a database guru, whereby you'll find out both these people, they are looking at different aspects of your code and they are not confused, they are content, they are happy, they can work from what you have designed because there are rules of engagement. In terms of the front end, there are rules of engagement, so they know what to do without even touching the back end, without even communicating to the back end guy. The database designer, they know what they can do and how they can improve your code without even contacting the rest of the team, of which that will mean that your code is not coupled together. So this is one of the things that I think plays a major role on making your code solid, not elastic. So now when it comes to you have to scale, it's impossible for you to scale. That even affects you personally. It affected me personally because I have been writing a lot of code that when I'm going back to it tomorrow, I really don't understand what's going on. When I'm trying to change the user interface, you'll find that I have to take 5 hours trying to redesign and declare variables and change functions, of which that slows down my progress. So one of the things that hinders us from creating tech startup or from creating a code that can scale, we don't think in principle and design in framework. I'm sorry for that. I have to cancel the video